Leadership is the most important thing when running a business. And what I'm about to share with you in this video is how I lead my team to make sure that we're all aligned on the goals for Q1, starting off 4 months of work with a team of over 20 people. Let me know if everyone can see my screen. Yeah? Yes. Amazing. All right, everyone. So welcome to our actual first meeting as a company, kicking off a quarter of the year. And this first quarter is all about setting the foundation for the coming years by improving and streamlining our internal processes, documentation, responsibilities, and systems while making the pivot into a content-powered business. Now, the goal of this meeting is to really set that foundation, as I said just now, where we're going to start with a quick reflection on 2023, the vision and the mission of our company, the company cultures and rules that we swear by, the upcoming goals for Q1, the adoption of content as a team, and make sure that we align on responsibilities. Now, I think 2023 was really where we put and curated all of this together, where there's been a lot of fun moments, as you can see me in my underwear at the airport and Ruben, like nearly peeing his pants. But it's been the year where we've really found our position in the market and stacking up on the best of the best talent to get us where we want to go. And that's what I think is really the most beautiful thing about what we've been able to achieve in 2023. It's been a crazy year of ups and downs and trying to figure it out. And we have been able to figure it out, which I'll shine more light on in the coming slides. Now, what are we looking at? We're looking at an environment for talent to thrive. We work with the best of the best and the best possible partners with the best possible team. And if you're reading this, you're fucking awesome. And I'm not kidding. Because as I literally wrote down, trust me with stats, for every person that we have here, there's been at least like 20 applicants fighting for this position. And we very carefully curate you on who you are as a person, the values you live by. If you're a fun person to be with, I mean, you can be really good, but if you're not fun, like what's the point of, joining us as a company, right? So I really, really appreciate all of you as individuals. And I want you to know that out of all the people I meet, I really value you and have, us as a team have really decided, to adopt you into our culture, which is hard. It's not easy. It's the one thing that we continuously fight for. So what are the next steps? So we've got to the point where we've really established proof of concept and we're experiencing growth. Us as a company, we're now going through growth. Now, what does that need? Like, what are the next steps? We need to improve our processes and systems. We need better cash flow management. We need to decrease our communication lines, more ownership across the board of team members. We need to measure in order to manage, I'll break everything down. We need clear user journeys for both business development as well as the actual user journey a partner makes, and align on responsibility and make sure that we start automating to maximize the output of the entire team collectively. Now, what is our vision? At Blank Studio, our vision is to build an empire of global leading community-driven software companies, and to translate this into tangible numbers, a multi-billion-dollar portfolio, the Y Combinator or the McKinsey within the software space. Now, over the years, we have been seeing a shift of how products are built. Blank Studio really embraces building in public, leveraging communities to launch lean MVP towards an audience to get quick validation and feedback without having go down the route of traditional race from venture capitals praying to get product market fit. So we do so by empowering the current generation of online entrepreneurs with the knowledge and skills to build products around their communities, where we leverage the biggest opportunity of our generation, which is something like artificial intelligence. That's what we as a company need to try and integrate more into the things that we do, because there's really going to be a gold rush, and especially within the SaaS space, we need to emphasize and make sure that we integrate this more. So throughout this whole process, Blank Studio grows its portfolio of software companies as well as their resources and knowledge around design, development, and marketing to have the entire portfolio benefit as like a whole collective. Now, what is our mission? Our mission is to really keep building these community-driven companies for our partners and have the results and data continuously drive the refinement of the framework we follow to actually build these companies. While doing all of this, we want to become pioneers in what I like to call a complete new paradigm, which is creator companies. It's us as a team with our noses into the same direction, creating content around the things that we do. an opportunity for the team to grow their personal brand, attract more talent, generate new leads, and benefit from profit sharing incentives, which really all comes down to us just fucking doing it. Now, the company culture and rules, regardless of the size of the company, one thing that I will never try and lose control of is the quality of our company culture. A fast-paced and open-minded environment for talent to thrive through real ownership and skin in the game. And what I mean by skin in the game is that I want to make sure that everyone works their way to a position to own a part of this company, to everything that we touch, to have you have skin in the game, to have you be part, and eventually, as I always like to say, make sure that the team's kids would not have to worry a day in their life. That's how big we're aiming. We're a professional sports team, and this is something that I'd really like to address. I would like to think or like to see everyone in here and the way I value everyone as a family, but the truth is we're not a family. We're a professional sports team. Every single position, including the one I am in, is earned, and everyone started with trust from someone who's worked his way to being able to give you this trust. And one thing that I want to stress on everyone, do never ever disrespect the trust you've been given by someone, both personal as well as business-wise. Now, these are the 8 rule of thumbs that I have put together for us as a company. And I'll break down each and every single one, just taking you guys through. And feel free, of course, to give feedback, which is number 7, which we'll get to all of that at the end of everything that I'm about to share with you. Now, communication is everything. Both internal and external communication is the most important thing. It's really what keeps us alive, as you can see here. It's better to have bad results with good communication than good results with bad communication. And we want to make sure that we really make sure that we're on top of both of our internal and external communication. Majority of the companies fail to scale as their output decreases. And the reason for this is because you have so much communication going on between individuals within a company. As we, week by week, have more people involved, we actually increase the lines of communication within our business. And the goal is really to keep as much of the communication clear and in all the public channels. So the statistics have showed that out of our messages, almost 43% is through direct messaging, which is okay, but we want to try and aim to get this number down and make sure that everything is discussed in the public channels so that everyone is up to date. Now, when it comes to communication, I've put together this actual chart that shows you what is happening and how we need to go about communication. So if we have a lot of value/action that we take, but we do not communicate this, we're in a very bad spot. If we do not deliver any value, do not deliver any action, and we don't communicate, we're in the same spot. So as you can see, communication is really the lever of making sure that everyone around us is happy, both internally and externally. Because if you do a lot of work and you don't tell anyone, especially as a remote company, no one is up to date. Now, if we deliver low value in action and we still give people insight on what is happening, how we're doing this, you're already in a much better spot. Now, the real sweet spot is a lot of value with a lot of action and great communication. So the key takeaways is always communicate, if not over communicate. This is something that I cannot stress enough, both internally and externally. Let's make sure that we always continue to communicate with each other. The second thing is keep really clear documentation of meetings with things such as an AI note taker or, of course, your own work through Linear, which I'll shine more light on in the coming few slides. And of course, I mean, as excited as I am for a meeting like this, in the end of the day, it's not very productive because we have a lot of people dialing in, sitting behind their desk and listening. So we want to always try and avoid meetings through just good communication in general and Looms so that, we don't end up wasting a lot of time sitting all in one meeting. Now, the second one is transparency and ownership. And one thing that I want to stress as well is that we really don't beat around the bush, taking complete ownership of our responsibilities. That's something that is a very strong rule within our company. And the thing is, it comes down to that we're all human and we all make mistakes. So we all need to have a very transparent approach on how we go about anything we do here, while always taking ownership of your responsibilities, which I will show later in this presentation how responsibilities are divided across the team. And you can see this kind of like these 2 circles where what I think to my definition is a real A player is having a balance between transparency and ownership, where you reflect and have an honest approach on leaving room for improvement, as well as just taking full responsibility of whatever you have on your plate and whatever is currently that you manage. And when you manage these things and you get feedback, you need to be able to really take a look at this and see if there's actual room for improvement. And when you do those two well, that's what I call an A player. Now, what does that look like in actual practice? So once you have, on the right, you can see a very clear path that you have to take for having and achieving this actual balance, which comes down to clear communication. You always start anything with just setting expectations. This is what I'm going to do. This is when I'm going to do it. And then you take the actual ownership, which is managing the expectations. So you make sure that you live up to what it is that you have, set in terms of expectations. Then once you actually deliver and follow up on doing all of this, the next step is to really, let me just put this one here. The next step is to really just make sure that are these expectations met? So you reflect on the ownership that you've taken, which can translate into feedback, which is right here from the team, to how can I improve this? And that is a continuous cycle that you need to apply to everything that you do. Now, what are the key takeaways? We're all human. When shit hit the fan, we own it and we fix it. That's something incredibly important. When things don't go well, don't beat around the bush. Again, we're all human. We're all kind to each other. We're selected out of, a massive crowd of people. And I know everyone in here has their heart in the right place. Now, the second thing is find a balance between ownership and awareness of the quality of work you are delivering, which was this one, to really make sure that you do have, the approach of questioning everything. Now, ownership comes with a lot of freedom as well as responsibility. And one thing that I stressed on earlier in this meeting as well is do not take the trust of ownership for granted, because it really scars a partnership. And the last point is life happens to all of us. I want you guys to know that one of the things that I value above anything in life, it's health. And if there's anything that I understand is that life happens to all of us, including to me. And when there is things, make sure that you communicate about them. Third point, avoid micromanagement. And yeah, as I wrote down here, who likes to be micromanaged? We want to lead with trust and clear structure to track the output. Now, what does that mean? For leaders, this means setting really clear expectations and document these in Linear and have deadlines to keep everyone accountable and make sure that you check in on these actual deadlines. Now, as a team, it's very important that you make sure that you understand that you track your progress in Linear and that you communicate when you need help or whenever you're done. The fourth point is create or follow documentation. And what I want us to do is to very meticulously ensure the consistency and clarity for all team members through the documentation that we create. So as a startup, you go through different phases that I've wrote down here for you, where you have micro, which is just figuring shit out. You have small, where you're kind of like scratching your head and like, shit, we're onto something. We need structure. And you have medium. How can I make sure that my team gets ahead of me? How can I get people that, are very specific and focused and dialed in on one thing that can do that 10 times better than me, to the point where you really just scale the influence and contribution and just make sure that you play a really good game of chess. We're currently small. We've passed the stage where we're figuring shit out and we know that we're onto something and we need structure. Now, how do we create this structure, and what is one of the things that I consider a massive lift for us as a team to collectively tackle this Q1? It's creating as much structure through documentation and automation as possible, where I've listed a few things that we've already put in motion, but I want to be able to tick all of these off by the end of Q1, which is automated proposal generation, a clear start to end journey for our customers, clear SOPs for whatever needs to be delegated, meetings like these, making sure that we can do these things on a regular and that everything we discuss is lived by or lived up to, as well as business development funnel. One thing that I really, really want to double down on is a very clear strategy on how we're going to do more lead generation and how content ties into it all. We need to become an oiled machine that just functions without any effort. So sentences like, what's the next step? How do I continue? Who can help me? What do I need to ask? Will be forbidden. If important things are unclear, we've done a poor job at creating clarity through SOP and supporting documents. And I want us as a team to take complete ownership of when things like these happen. So we need to really start defining the user journey the partners take from ideation to the actual handover of the product. And this comes in these like 4 phases, which is obviously a very zoomed out perspective, but it all starts with defining the problem / direction, which is happening in the actual company audit / as we always call it, pre-exploration phase, where we move on to legal and payment, which is really just kicking off the scope once we've aligned on everything. Then it's time to get shit done, which is the actual deliverables, and then it's time to hand over the scope, which is clear handover and delivery of the things that we are building. Now, the 5th pillar is lead through the structure. So as here we really focus on creating the structure, we want to make sure that we document this and follow this, because documentation is half the job, following it is the other half. Now, these are the 3 pillars of structure. It's very simple. We use Notion to store data for ourselves as well as for our partners, which we selectively can share. New scopes and things that you have to do are planned and turned into actual set of tasks within Linear with very clear deadlines, and Slack is where we touch base on anything using the left 2 pillars to provide extra context and create as much clarity as possible. Now, what do I mean by lead through structure? Is once all of this documentation is in place, we need to follow it religiously. No one should have to think twice what the next step for anything we touch is, and we as a team need to make sure that this is created. The 6th pillar is measure to manage. So what does that mean? This really applies to almost everything within our company, and it's one thing that I think is the biggest obstacle for us as a company to move from micro to small to medium. When we do this right, we are able to move to medium very quickly. Now, the responsibilities of who to track and keep accountable is something that I'm going to cover later, but I just quickly want to show you what that's going to translate to, and of course suggestions are welcome to how we want to do this. We need to put numbers to everything, because then we can measure how well things are going. Did we hit our deadlines? How fast did we deliver as a team? And mainly a specific person, because obviously we need to make sure, as I said, we're a football team, everyone needs to perform. How much did you post? Because content is going to be a massive pillar on school, on Twitter, on LinkedIn, and of course we can have the team, which again I'll later on explain, facilitate the actual distribution and repurposing. How much did we grow as a team? Did you have fun? And how much came out of it? Now, as Blank Studio itself, more on the admin side, how much revenue did we do? How much profit margins did we have? What are the budgets? How much room is there to expend? And how much leads did we close? How fast did we get back to these leads? And how many leads did we get a month? Those are all things that we need to start measuring, and that we will share, and that we actually will put KPIs to, where all of these pillars will accelerate kind of, all these different pillars in some sort of a flywheel structure to make sure that we can manage and basically just turn the buttons of getting things done on a bigger scale. Because if, for example, we find out that by posting that much content, we have that many leads, we know how much content we need to post to increase the actual inbound. Now, number 8 is stay involved. I want to cultivate a culture that is really around continuous feedback and engaging us as a team. Now, assume nothing, question everything. What do I mean by that? Is feedback goes hand in hand with ownership and transparency. And if we as a team, with our noses pointed into the same direction and question everything with the goal to improve, we will move mountains. Where we deliver work, we communicate this internally to our partners, we gather this feedback, and we figure out how we can continuously improve / implement the actual feedback to just continuously, as a whole, improve the entire start to end processes that we have from anything we touch within our company. Now, feedback is something that I want to touch on as well, because every now and then it can be difficult to get feedback or give feedback, and I want you guys to know that we're all human and no one likes to do things wrong. But the truth is that we all do things wrong. I do things wrong all the time. And it all starts with no one can really do anything wrong. I think that's the right approach, because I know that everyone here is doing everything out of a right place. And I understand, as I said, that life happens to all of us. There's a lot of different circumstances that happen. But when giving feedback, it's very good to go about, like, the way you go about giving feedback is how you would like to be treated. So instead of, pointing fingers and being like, this is shit, that is shit, it's always good to start things with like, I think this could be better. How about we do it this? And make your point clear and make sure that it can be turned into an actual actionable item to improve whatever it is that you're giving feedback on. Now, how do you receive feedback? And this is really leaning into the transparent part of being an A player, where this feedback that you get, how valid is this feedback? And this really relates back to this thing that I wrote down here, is assume nothing and question everything. Because once you start questioning everything and knowing your team members' feedback will always come out of a good place, try and reflect and implement where possible. And every now and then, we need a healthy slap on the wrist. And that is also something that I do acknowledge, which is very normal in a company. It's very common for someone to every now and then lose the fire and the awareness of what we're doing and where we're headed. It's incredibly important for us to understand that what I mentioned in the beginning of this meeting, every position in our company is earned, and everyone started with the trust from someone who's worked this way to being able to give you this trust. And you always need to respect this trust that you've been given. And this also ties into good communication, because when expectations are managed and when you make sure that you are doing your thing, and let's say you have a bad month, it happens to all of us, but it's so important that you understand that we're here to win the race, not watch the race. So yeah, last part. Prioritize content. This is the area of creator companies. This is something that I'm very excited for, and I think if we do this right, we can really set a new trend for majority of the companies out there. I don't see a lot of companies do this, and I think if we do this right, we really, really put ourselves on the map. Every single person here on this call is here because I created content. And that blows my fucking mind. If that does not show you what putting your vision, putting what you stand for, who you are out in the world is able to achieve, is nuts. And I need you all to really understand that the magnitude of creating content, of what this can do for you. And I want us to become one of the first companies that is really embracing content creation as a team, as it's truly fundamental of who we are as a company. It's really one of the values that we live by. That's how we've attracted so much talent. That's how we've, got to the point where now we're having like a full house and a Q1 meeting about the goals for these coming 4 months. And regardless of what is going to happen, this is truly going to be an asset that you will carry with you for the rest of your life. The opportunity that you're looking at is you're able to build a brand online, leveraging the unique opportunity you have in front of you while being able to earn money, work your way towards receiving options in the portfolio, while documenting the companies we are building and having to share this towards an audience that's already there while you're building your personal brand. And if you really want my opinion, that's fucking nuts. I don't know any company out there that is doing this the way we are doing this. So, the expectations that I have in terms of creating content is to have fun, hit your numbers, engage with each other, and stay consistent. We're going to set very clear KPIs that need to be hit, and we need to track growth. Now, what are our Q1 goals? And when we kick off our Q2 meeting, I want all of these ticked off, and we as a team are responsible. We want to start with automating and creating structure. We want to automate the entire onboarding flow where we can get to a deliverable of an actual proposal in as quick as 1 to 2 days. We want to structure our start to end partner journey and clearly state all deliverable with templates to improve the speed and quality of our service. The second thing is I want to get blank templates off the ground. Grow the community to 1,000+ members, which should be easy. That's double the size of what we have now with not much effort. We want to post on a daily basis, share the things we're up to, which could be one of the team members, which could be, we just need to make sure that we post. I want to start generating the first cash with blank templates, which is a revenue share incentive for the entire team. And then we also want to do the merchandise drop, which is going to be a fun little thing on the side, just to make sure that everyone looks very swaggy when we have our Q2 meeting. Now, third part is over deliver on partners. We have a lot in the pipeline right now, and I want to push the extra mile in terms of speed and quality. Push the extra mile. This is something that has got me so far in life. Always over deliver, and I want to make sure that we have that within our company culture. Always push the extra mile. I want to, say that we're a creator company. I want to live the new vision I have for this company, which is a creator company, and the team has to hit and stick to their KPIs. And it really just comes down to starting with creating content. And as difficult as it seems, the good thing is that there's a million ways to create content. I'm not expecting you to become the next Mr. Beast. I'm not expecting you to become whatever. I don't know any famous writers, but whatever famous writer. I'm just expecting you to share what we're up to in the way that you're comfortable. And if we do that, and at some point you're going to get comfortable doing this, I'm telling you, you're going to reap the benefits. We all will, collectively as a team. The fifth goal for this Q1 is I want to have a very, very solid business development system in place where we have mapped out the entire system, where we take everything into consideration from the community to potential whatever, like paid media strategies to the content that we put out. Everything needs to be mapped out with a very clear funnel on how to go about this, where we also will build out our actual sales team, because now we are able to have an automated onboarding flow where we can get these deliverables and proposals to people very quickly. Now, the last thing, I also want to make sure that we improve the Blank Studio website, because it literally looks like I made this while I was drunk. Now, what is a chain of responsibility? The initial responsibility is given because of me trusting you. And we're reaching a point within our company where this responsibility transcends down to others, turning you into the person responsible. And I think that's very important to understand, that we're now getting to the point where you're ultimately responsible for someone else who's responsible for someone else. Because if you don't do your thing right, they're going to get shit. And that person will have to, like do a lot of crisis management, blah, blah, blah. So it's really important to understand that we're creating layers of responsibility now, and those cannot be taken for granted. And most importantly, guys and girls, have fun. I think that's really what, to me, this is all about. I've been really enjoying building this company, having all of you around, and having met some of you in crazy places in the world, having taken some of you in crazy places of the world, and I will continue to do so. And we just got to make sure that we have fun, because we have such a unique opportunity in front of us where there's so much to leverage for us, considering the time and age we have, and the passion we have as a team, and the way we found each other by simply just resonating with who we are, what we stand for, getting along, and just have fun. That's like probably the most important message that I really want to give to you today. Have fun and follow everything that I wrote down here. Thank you from the bottom of my heart, because I truly couldn't have been where we are right now as a company without any of you, and I really cannot wait where we are going together as a team this year. I wrote down the date, in case, within a few years we hit this massive $1 billion portfolio, and we can say wow, this is our Q1 meeting. So yeah, cool. All right, everyone. Thank you for attending. I hope you enjoyed my presentation. I hope you, really, really see where we're heading. I hope you see how it's really special for me to have all of you here, to have all of you be part of this. And I'm truly beyond excited for what's to come. So I don't really know how to go about getting feedback on this, because I don't think it's going to be very efficient, to be very honest and transparent with you guys. But I think it's best, if anyone wants to share anything, obviously feel free to do so. But I think it's best that we just resync in Slack itself, gather some feedback. But yeah, I hope you guys found this useful. I hope this has really aligned us on where we're going. I hope this really has set the foundation of how we want to tackle Q1. I'll make sure to send this presentation. I'll make sure to send this recording. We're actually going to post this on YouTube, because I just want to share with the world how we structure this and how we do this. Just going to make sure that we, lead by example, create a company. So yeah, that said, I wish everyone, to those in Asia, to those in Europe, I don't know where everyone is at the moment. I lose track. But yeah, I wish you a lovely day, a very productive day. And once again, thank you. I'm really, really glad you're here, and I'm super excited for what's to come.